stream, welcome to the stream, welcome to the stream, welcome to the stream, welcome to the stream. Wednesday night. Continuing Higurashi stuff. And then finally jumping back into Valkyria Chronicles is the plan. We'll read for like an hour and a half or so of some Higurashi here. Get right into it. Oh, I gotta move that out of that screen. Mind your ears. Windows on my certain windows out of order. Can't have that happening on during my stream. I keep a tight ship here on this stream. Can't have random browser windows in random places. Alright, so yesterday we started reading Let me take a look at this again. What is it? Miotsukushi. The PS2. Sorry, hiccup there. PS2 version. Apparently. Allegedly. And what did we learn? Not much. We know this is apparently an alternate ending to the whole series. So after chapter 8, we had a bit of, well, we had quite a bit with Rika. She is sans Hanyu. No Hanyu in sight. She called out. Not there. Rika's confused. Then we switched to the school. Shenanigans with the club was happening. Rika has been apparently missing for quite some time. So no clear definitive answer there, but they're probably somewhat linked. And then we saw, you know, the wrath of Chie-sensei. Because someone dare mention curry sucks or something like that. And that's where we're at. It wasn't much. It wasn't much yesterday. I think we just got a bit in there. But yeah, like I said, we'll read hopefully like an hour and a half or so tonight. And then make the switch to Valkyria Chronicles. Because we need to do that. Let's hop right into it. I don't have anything else to say. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. Or whatever day it happens to be when you're seeing this. Unless it's Tuesday. If you're watching this on a Tuesday, fuck you. I was trying to think of something clever to say so that, like, someone watching the VOD on, like, one random day of the week, and then I could just imagine they're watching this on their computer or something, and then I start saying, unless it's a Tuesday, and then someone, like, before I finish it, they just look, they look down at the calendar or something. Sorry. No, you know what? If it's Tuesday and you happen to watch this, I actually hope you are having an especially nice day. More than every other day of the week. All these other people watching it on any other day than Tuesday. And that's all I'll say about that. Alright, what is this? I guess lunch will be over soon. I awoke inside the nurse's office and muttered that to myself as I looked up at the clock on the wall. I was a bit disappointed by how little time had passed. Before now, there were times I got flustered by the rapid flow of time, but I'd never felt weary of the sluggish flow. There was a faint odor of disinfectant solution inside this white room, given it a somewhat cold atmosphere. Some people would say they dislike this atmosphere, but I've been a research subject since my early childhood, so maybe I've gotten used to it. It's actually rather calming. My back and neck ached a little. I must have slept in an odd position. Just 20 days left. Gazing at the calendar on the wall, that was how long I had until the day of destiny. I had traveled a month back. Why so much longer than last time? Still don't know if that was a good thing or bad thing. It's impossible to understand. Still, I've been rather pathetic, idly wasting my time for the past 10 days. I have to make a move. I understand that. I have to think things through. I understand that as well. If things remain as they are, that witch will get her hands on me and things will end in the worst possible way. Still, I realized that, but... I squeezed at the comforter. The white, freshly laundered sheet cover quickly crumpled and soaked in the sweat from my palms. But that was all. It had no answer for me. And the one person who would always reach out to me when I was feeling this troubled wasn't here. When that happened, first and foremost, I felt abject dread and indescribable loneliness. It was so unnatural. But despite that, I'm still surrounded by my lively, noisy friends. Anytime I walked around in Hinamazawa or Okinomiya, all the villagers will clap their hands together in praise and treat me kindly. It's true that I have no immediate family, but I never had any reason to feel alone. Nevertheless, even after living for hundreds or even thousands of years, this was the very first time I felt truly alone. And as that pain stabbed at the depths of my heart, I closed myself off from others like I was running away. Hanyu. I suddenly spoke her name. Maybe she'll answer me. I was just playing around trying to surprise you, Rika. Suddenly appearing next to me and uttering some nonsense like that. No, maybe she was planning to do that, but she lost her chance thanks to some sort of trouble, and now she can't come out because she's afraid of making me angry. Whenever I noticed how weak I was for refusing to completely disregard that sort of explanation, it added to my self-loathing. It was a vicious cycle. Excuse me. Oh, Rika-chan, you're already up. The person who came barging into the room without waiting for a reply was Shion. She had a heavy box in hand, probably my lunchbox. How are you feeling? Ah, your complexion seems to have improved a bit. Me. My head and my body still feel sluggish. Now, this isn't the season for heat fatigue, though. Rika-chama, I'll leave your lunch here. It's a fruit salad with apples and other things good for digestion. Thank you, Nipa. When I smiled, Shion smiled back. It's strange. Since when was Shion such a caring person? Though I still had my suspicions, Shion sat the heavy box on the desk and then stopped beside me to put a hand on my forehead. It was cold, but felt soft and comforting. Seems like you're not running a fever. I think I'll prepare another dinner for you today. Would that be alright? Please don't worry about me. If you don't come over, I'll be able to eat Satoko's unique meals. It's only a little awful. I'm sure Satoko would be upset to hear that. Of course, that's our little secret. If you tell anyone, Oyashiro-sama's curse will come for you. Well, don't say that. Oh, how scary. If the Shrine Maiden Rika-chama says so, it must be true. Shion faked a show of exaggerated surprise, but her eyes were still smiling. She was probably intending to just play along with my joke, but right now, I felt just a little unpleasant. No, it's not it. It was a little different. It was unpleasant because it felt like she was seeing through me. I had mentioned the name of Oyashiro-sama, the one who was no longer by my side. It seemed like she was emphasizing that point. What am I thinking? Of course, Shion had no reason to pick up on any of that. At best, she would only recognize me as the village mascot, even though I was revered as the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Shion had been isolated from Hinamazawa for a long time. That's why, up until now, she had realistic views on the curse, even a bit of skepticism. With one particular exception, though. Alright, I should head back. What about you, Rika-chama? I called in a car, so if you're planning to leave early, we could ride together. Me, I'm starting to feel a little better after getting some rest. I'll eat lunch and do my best to go to class afterwards.
そうですか。
Is that so?
あんまり無理しちゃダメですよ。
Try not to overdo it, okay?
それじゃ。
See you later.
し
Oh, she...
Hey?
Yes? Just as Shion tried to make her way out with a smile on her face, I called out to stop her. When she turned and looked back, I started to feel a hint of regret, but I resolved myself to speak up anyway.
は
She...
いつからさとこと仲良しなのですか？
How long have you been this close with Satoko?
はい。
Huh? Sure enough, Shion absentmindedly stared straight ahead with her eyes open wide. After all, it was a pretty unusual question. It was a pretty unusual question. I was starting to feel more and more regret for asking, but it was already too late.
不思議なくらいの仲良しさんなのです。
You're oddly close friends.
園崎の家と北条の家が険悪な関係だということは C も分かっているはずなのです。
I'm sure you're well aware of the rocky relationship between the Sonozaki and Hojo families.
それを言ったらお姉だってそうじゃないですか。
You could say the same about Sis in that case, couldn't you?
み
Me. Come to think of it, that's true. What am I even asking? Perhaps sensing my confusion, Shion looked at me and grinned.
そんなに変ですかね。私とさとこが仲良くしてたら。
Is it really so strange for Satoko and I to get along?
あれ、ひょっとしてリカちゃま嫉妬してます？
Oh, could it be that you're jealous, Rika-chama?
私に取られたと思って。
Do you think I'm taking her away from you?
みさとこは僕の可愛い遊び相手なのです。
Me, Satoko is my adorable playmate.
C にも渡さないのですよ。みぱー。
I won't let you take her, she. Nipa.
さとこをめぐって三角関係成立ですか。
Seems the love triangle has formed around Satoko.
なんか私たちのバッグにユリの花が見えますよ。
Is that Yuri I see sprouting up in the background between all of us? No, I wouldn't go that far. At any rate, I was glad the conversation had veered in another direction.
それに任されてますから私。
Besides, he entrusted it to me,
さとこのこと。
taking care of Satoko.
サトシから
By Satoshi?
ですか？
Wait, I didn't skip behind you. Okay. Shion opened her eyes a little wider in surprise. I thought it was a mistake to mention his name, but Shion quickly shrugged her shoulders and flashed a playful smile. It was like she was saying, go ahead and laugh, but surprisingly enough, she had a strong will in her eyes.
まあ確かに
Well, of course.
サトシ君の一件があった直後はいろいろ複雑でしたよ。
Things got really complicated right after Satoshi-kun's incident.
ひょっとしたらサトシ君がいなくなった原因の一つはサトコなんじゃないだろうかって。
I started to wonder if Satoko was one of the factors responsible for Satoshi-kun's disappearance.
今なら笑っちゃうくらいの逆恨みをした時期も間違いなくありました。
It's comical in hindsight, but there were times in the past that I felt resentful. No doubt about that. I already know about all that. In one of the worlds I followed, it warped into intense murderous rage against the Sonozaki family and against Satoko. I didn't believe Satoshi-kun would come back. I didn't believe Satoshi-kun was alive. I didn't think he was alive, so I thought he was dead. I believed in his death. I killed him inside myself. Nobody else did. I did that. But Satoko believed until the very end, and she was rewarded in her final moments. Satoko wasn't here anymore, but I'm still here. Satoshi-kun was waiting for both Satoko and me. But to be reunited with Satoshi-kun, we had to keep our promises. Satoko's promise was to be strong. Satoko kept that promise until the bitter end, and Satoshi-kun embraced her. My promise was to take care of Satoko for Satoshi-kun. I never kept the promise from the beginning. Therefore, Satoshi-kun will never embrace me. Even if I were to rub Satoko's wounds and ask her if they hurt, that wouldn't mean anything. That was when I felt something behind me. It wasn't Satoshi-kun or the thing that scared me before. I didn't know who it was, but it was right there, criticizing me for my mistakes. Then, I finally realized it. That thing is me. I had always been there, standing behind myself and watching me break that promise. Satoshi-kun asked me to take care of Satoko, yet I didn't keep that promise. I'd been watching that happen. I cried and gave up on myself. Wait, Satoshi-kun gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. What will happen to me now? Please don't leave me. If I give up on myself, what will happen to my body?
大丈夫。
It'll be alright.
だから導いてあげて
As
く
long
だ
as
さい。
So lead on.
お守る
Should be
はず。
protect.
シー
She.
あ、ごめんなさい。
Huh? Sorry.
で、さとことちょっと前に野球の試合が終わった後、
Anyway, after that baseball game a little while back,
ケイちゃんがきっかけで話をしたんです。
I had a chance to chat with Satoko thanks to Key-chan.
で、ちょっと意地悪な気持ちで質問してみました。
So, I was lightly teasing her while asking a question.
サトシくんが帰ってきたら、真っ先に何をしてあげますって。
When Satoshi-kun comes back, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
その時にあの子、なんて答えたと思います？
How do you think she answered that?
そう
Well,
ごめんなさい。あの子、真剣な顔でそう言ったんです。
I'll tell him I'm sorry. She had a completely serious look on her face as she said that.
自分が甘え続けたせいで、サトシくんは出ていくことになってしまった。
She said Satoshi-kun left because she kept on acting like a baby.
だからまず謝って、それから強くなった自分を見せるんだって。
So, she wanted to apologize right away, and then show him how much stronger she had become.
あの子、自分の罪をちゃんと理解していたんですね。
She completely understands her sin. Shion smiled and shook her head as she said that. There wasn't even a speck of the intense hostility towards Satoko that I'd witnessed in the past.
サトコは強い子になろうとしています。
Satoko is doing her best to become stronger.
それがあの子なりの約束で罪滅ぼしなんだって。
She considers that her promise and atonement.
サトシくんが帰ってきた時にもう困らせたりしないように。
So that when Satoshi-kun comes back, she won't be a burden on him any longer.
信じてるんですよ。
She believes.
それを守っていればいつかきっと帰ってきてくれるってね。
That as long as she keeps her promise, he'll come back one day.
シー
She...
サトコと私、立場は同じなんです。
Satoko and I are actually in the same position.
だから私も約束を守ってあの子の面倒を見続けようってそう思えるようになりました。
So, doing my best to keep my promise and look after her. I was finally able to see it that way.
信じるのは難しいけど信じなきゃ始まらないって誰かが言っていた気がします。
Even if it's hard to believe, nothing happens without belief. I feel like someone once said that.
信頼に応えなきゃ奇跡を信じる資格なんてありませんからね。
If you can't reciprocate their trust, you're not even qualified to believe in miracles.
資格ですか。
Not even qualified, huh? That simple utterance had a terribly heavy weight to it. Shion smiled and scratched her head as though she sensed something odd in my reaction.
なんて柄じゃないですね。お姉じゃあるまいし。
Just kidding. It's not like me, huh? Who do I think I am, sis?
まあ最近はサトコの反応とか仕草が小動物チックでいじめがいがあるというかなんか可愛くなってきちゃってるんですけどね。
Well, Satoko's reaction these days are like a small animal's. Teasing her is really worth it, and I think she's gotten pretty cute. Teehee. Teehee. Is she on the sort of character to say that? Still.
きっと実現すると思うのです。
I'm sure it'll happen.
僕はシーとサトコの願いが本当になることを祈っていますのです。
I'll be praying for you and Satoko's wish to come true.
それはお社様の巫女としてですか？
Is that a declaration as a shrine maiden of Oyashiro-sama?
お社様は関係ないのです。
This has nothing to do with Oyashiro-sama.
でももし必要なら僕からお社様にお願いしてあげるのですよ。
But if it ever becomes necessary, I'll ask Oyashiro-sama for help.
それはどうも。
Thanks for that.
でも神頼みじゃなく自分でも頑張るつもりですから。
But I'm not turning to gods for help. I'll do my best on my own.
じゃ。
Anyway, later! After that last jab, Shion waved her hand and left the nurse's office. Such indifference. But only these days did I finally understand that Shion tries to act candid when her true feelings are close to showing. If you can't reciprocate their trust, you're not even qualified to believe in miracles, huh? For a while, I just sat in the bed staring out the window while thinking over that conversation with Shion. I heard the delightful sound of bells ringing off in the distance. Afternoon class must be getting started.
さてと、
Now then,
今日は快速に乗っ取り、部員の諸君に是非を問いたい。
in accordance with club regulations, I'd like to pose a question to all club members. The moment class ended, Mion turned her desk toward us like usual and began shouting in our direction.
我が部活も今や、ひなみ沢はおろか、沖宮においてもその有名を轟かせることとなった。
Our club activities have become famous not just in Yamazawa, but Okinomiya as well.
有名って悪名の間違いじゃないのか？
Famous? Don't you mean infamous?
圭一くん
Keiichi-kun.
そこでだ。
Therefore,
今後我が部の活動範囲も広がり、そしてそれに伴い多種多様な敵と戦うにあたって戦力増強を行う必要がある。
the scope of our activities will grow moving forward, and in accordance with that, we will need to increase our strength to battle a wide variety of foes.
そのためには
To that end,
無視かよ。
are you ignoring me?
要は新しく部員を入れようって話なの。
So in short, she's talking about adding new club members.
こらレナ
Hey, Reina!
一番美味しいセリフを取っていくんじゃない。
Don't go stealing the most appetizing lines. Wait, did she give that whole long propaganda speech just to lead up to that? Just speak clearly, don't waste our time.
でも確かに部員が増えるってのは面白いよな。
Anyway, increasing the size of the club does sound interesting.
球技でも何でもゲームの面白さが広がって楽しくなるぜ。
Whether it's a ball game or something else, the joy of the games will spread even further and we'll have more fun.
レナは異議なし。
Reina has no objections. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
どんな相手が来ても私の相手になれる人がいるとは考えられませんけどね。
No matter who joins, I can't imagine anyone will be a match for me.
僕もさとこも賛成しますですよ。
Satoko and I agree. The three of them, including Rikichan, who came back after lunchtime, all agreed to Mion's proposition, and I, of course, welcomed it.
でそれはいいんだが誰を入れるつもりなんだ？
That's all well and good, but who are we going to add? No matter how much we wanted to recruit new members, we'd get nowhere if nobody applied. Plus, even if they wanted to join our club, they'd get nowhere with the skill and willpower of an ordinary person.
富田くん
Tomita-kun?
それとも岡村くん
Or maybe Akamura-kun?
あの二人だとしたら思いっきり参加条件を厳しくしてやりたいところですわ。
If it's those two, I'll raise the bar for application extremely high. Still resentful about their betrayal in the early exchange with Shion, Satoko crossed her arms and stared daggers at Tomita-kun and Akamura-kun. When their eyes met, they shivered and held their hands together. Indeed, even if they did want to join the club, the entrance criteria would be strict, especially from Satoko.
ちっちっち。みんなわかんないかな。
You all don't get it?
みんなの目の前にいるじゃん。
They're right before your eyes.
あ？
Huh?
目の前
Right before our eyes? We all looked around the class in response to Mion's declaration, but the entire class is still in the room, so I couldn't tell who she was referring to.
ん？
Everyone is still here. Isn't that a little unusual? Usually most of the class is ready to head home shortly after school lets out, but they were all still here, expectantly looking in our direction.
まさか。
No way.
そう、その通り。
Yes, precisely!
我が部活への入部希望者はこのクラス全員だ。
The new candidates for our club are the entire class.
お願いします。
Please let us join! Following Mion's lead, everyone in the class all around us began shouting their appeal.
すごい。
Amazing.
私たちの部活ってこんなに皆さんから認知されていたのでございますのね。
I had no idea every single one of them was aware of our club activities. Reina and Satoko were stunned by their enormous magnitude. Of course, the same could be said about me.
この人数ならアメリカンフットボールだってできてしまえるのです。
Americano football? With this many people, we could put together an American football team. Wait, isn't that horribly physically demanding?
しかしすごい規模だな。
But the scale of this really is impressive.
ああ、もちろん OK だ。入部を認め。
Yeah, of course it's okay. So in recognition of our newcomers, the moment I tried to answer.
しかし
However,
我が部活には鉄の掟がある。
Our club has hard and fast rules.
入部を希望する者は私たちが用意する厳しい入部テストを突破しなければいけないのだ。
Those who wish to join must first conquer a strict entrance exam.
み
Huh?
ーちゃん
Me-chan. We are all surprised. Since when was that a rule? No, I'm certain she just came up with that on the spot.
さあ、
Now,
あんたたちにこの試練を乗り越える勇気と根性はあるか？
you all have enough, do you all have the courage and the will to overcome this trial?
はい。
Yes. Everyone in the class had huge smiles and nodded enthusiastically as they gave an immediate answer. Once Mion saw that, she gave a satisfied nod and then made a proclamation.
では、明日新入部員テストを行う。
Then the tests for all new members will be conducted tomorrow.
種目は缶蹴りだ。
And the game will be Kick the Can. Oh, what an exciting game. Oh, kick that fucking can. Can't wait to play the game Kick the Can. I love cans and kicking them. And the next day, the last class of the afternoon was PE, so we changed into our gym clothes and went out to the schoolyard. Our underclassmen had all rushed out there and were waiting for their heads turned this way.
よ、待たせたの。
Yo, kept you waiting, huh? I tried to casually call out to them and unconsciously held up a hand, but I stopped halfway. They were all looking at us with tense, spirited looks rather than their usual smiles.
よろしくお願いします。
Looking forward to it! They turned to us and shouted with booming voices. For a moment, I felt overwhelmed by the pressure.
お、お。
Right. I shouted back at them without missing a beat. The younger students successfully conveyed their tremendous spirit, and I was thrilled that they were so passionate about becoming our comrades.
おお、みんな気合入ってるね。
Oh, looks like everyone's fired up.
こりゃ楽しみだよ。
Looking forward to it.
なんだ
Ah,
かとっても手強そう
they look really tough.
こっちもいつも以上に頑張らないとね
I'll have to work even harder than usual. Then, Rina and Mion came out to the schoolyard with huge smiles on their faces after witnessing the passion of our underclassmen. But there was no levity in their eyes. They were all like raptors stalking their prey as they sized up the adversaries before them. Indeed, the game has already begun. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
強い敵ほど倒しがいがあるというものでございますわ
The stronger the opponent, the greater the value in their defeat.
北条、その余裕いつまで続くかな。
Hojo, how much longer will you be saying that?
あら
What now?
シオンさんの腰巾着の分際でいつからそんな大口を
Since when did Xianzan's trained lackeys have such big mouths? Ha ha ha!
あなた方の腐敗伝説も今日が限りとさせてもらいますよ。
Your undefeated reign ends today! Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun wasted no time before provoking her. Rather than dancing to Satoko's sarcasm, they were flexing and patting their arms. An impressive display. If they join our group, they'll become an unstoppable force with the proper training.
ケイチ君まだ早いよ
Kichi-kun, isn't it a little early for that?
誰を入部させるかは今日のこの時間にかかってるんだから
Whether they'll be able to join or not will be determined today. Rena casually warned me as if she could read my mind. Well, suppose that's true, but regardless of who makes the cut, I'm excited by the prospect of new members.
とはいえ、私たちのオメガネにかなわなかったら入部者ゼロってのもありえるけどね。
Although, if they don't live up to our strict expectations, it's possible there won't be any new members at all.
そういうことでございます
Precisely.
さて私たち相手にどこまで楽しませてもらえるのか見ものでございますわ
Now the time has come to see to what extent our adversaries will be able to entertain us. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but why do I get the sense that that's by design? Like, Mion this is all just to have some laughs at the expense of all these kids trying to get into their club. But I'm assuming my guess is that there's gonna be I think she's thinking there's gonna be some rule that she's gonna be able to enact that's like, or some strict standards is like intentionally designed to weed out everyone and not let anyone pass through. But my guess is then someone is going to still, despite all that, still make it in. Placing my bets now. Placing the bets now. Even though this was just an entrance exam, the three of them were absolutely unforgiving. I understand how they feel, but isn't it unfair to suddenly demand they perform at the same level as the rest of us? Or maybe I'm getting soft. Just then,
強い思いがあればきっと頑張れるのです。
if they have strong convictions, I'm sure they'll do their best.
だから僕たちも本気でぶつかってあげるのが礼儀だと思うのです。
That's why it's only fair for us to fight back in earnest.
リカちゃん
Rika-chan,
高い山になればそれだけ越えた時の嬉しさも増すのです。
the taller the mountain, the greater the joy of surmounting it.
だから圭一もファイト王なのですよ。
So you have to fight on. Rika-chan seemed to sense my hesitation and offered me encouragement. Hearing her say that did make the weight feel a little lighter. Indeed, that's true. A competition is only meaningful if you and your opponent both clash at full power. In fact, to come at them with half-hearted softness would be terribly insulting.
そうだな。よし
Yeah, that's right.
俺も全力以上で頑張るぜ。
Then I'll use my full strength and give it everything I've got.
お、どうしたリカちゃん。
Hmm? What's wrong, Rika-chan?
圭一、
Cage?
今の言葉で何か思い出したりしませんですか？
Does what you just said remind you of anything?
今の言葉
What I just said?
どういう意味だリカちゃん。
What do you mean by that, Rika-chan?
い
Oh,
え、何でもないのです。
it's nothing.
ん
Rika-chan's expression seemed to cloud over for a moment, but before I had a chance to ask any further, Rika-chan turned and began walking towards Satoko without looking back.
どうしたの？
Is something wrong,
圭一くん。
Keiichi-kun?
あ、いや、なんでもない。
Ah, no, it's nothing. I don't know what it is, but it feels like something is stirring deep in my chest.
さて、それじゃあまずは光線規定だ。
Alright then, first, the rules of engagement.
みんな、これを背中につけてくれる？
Everyone, would you mind putting one of these on your back? Mion began passing out white slips to everyone as she said that. They were made of white rectangular fabric, like the sort of thing you'd see people wearing at an athletic meet. Rika-chan was carrying a box of safety pins and black magic markers that she had prepared in advance.
通常なら見つけた子の名前を読み上げるのがルールだけど、校庭なら見晴らしが良くて鬼には有利だからね。
Normally, the rule is that you have to read aloud the name of any kid you catch, but this schoolyard has high visibility, which gives the person who's it an advantage.
そこで今回は好きな番号をゼッケンに書いて、それを背中に貼り付ける。
So this time, just write your favorite number on your tag and stick it on your back.
その背番号を缶に足をつけた鬼に読み上げられたらアウトだよ。
If the person who's it reads your number aloud while their foot is on the can, you're out.
それから、
Also, Mion continued her explanation as she prodded the circle with her foot, which Rina had efficiently drawn on the ground in chalk with a radius of 1 meter.
鬼が缶に触れている間はタッチされてもアウト。
If the person who's it touches you while touching the can, you're also out.
ただし鬼は白い円の中に入っていいのは5秒間だけだからね。
However, person who's it can only enter the white circle for 5 seconds.
なるほど。
I see.
あ、それなら適当に番号言ってもいいのか？
Oh, but then couldn't we just call out whatever numbers we wanted, if that's how it works?
その場合は、
In that case...
リカちゃん、
Oh, Rika-chan.
悪いけど審判お願いしていい？
Sorry, but could I ask you to be the referee?
審判ですか？
Referee? Rika-chan was still in the middle of passing out safety pins and markers to the younger students when she suddenly looked up at Mion.
そう。
Right.
ちゃんと鬼が背番号の数字を読み上げたか、リカちゃんに判断してもらう。
Rika-chan will determine whether or not the person who's it reads the proper number.
リカちゃんの言うことにはみんな従うこと。
Everyone, follow Rika-chan's orders.
それなら誰も文句言ったりしないでしょ。
As long as you do that, there shouldn't be any complaints. Right?
了解なのです。
Roger that.
まだちょっと調子が良くなかったからちょうど良かったのです。
That's a good choice because I'm still not feeling completely well. Now that she mentions it, her complexion does look a little pale.
大丈夫ですの？リカ。
Are you alright, Rika?
見ているだけなら平気なのです。
If I'm just watching, I'll be fine.
サトコは僕の分までファイト王なのですよ。
Satoko, you'll just have to fight on in my place. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
リカの分まで頑張ったら私の相手になれる人間など銀河系には存在しなくなってしまいますわ。
Were I to fight hard enough to fill Rika's share, no human in the galaxy would be a match for me. Satoko let out a boisterous, energetic laugh as she said that. Rikishan clapped her hands together when she saw that.
宇宙最強コンビなのです。
The strongest combination in the universe.
僕たちがタッグを組めば天下無双、元気爆発なのですよ。ニパー。
If we tag teamed, our power would be an unparalleled explosion of energy. Nippa! I don't quite understand the meaning of that, but regardless, that's some impressive self-confidence.
さて、それじゃあ肝心の入部の条件を言うよ。
Now then, let's talk about entry requirements.
部活メンバーが鬼になるから入部希望者は私たちに捕まることなく缶を蹴飛ばすことができれば勝ちだ。
The club members are all it, so any candidate who manages to kick the can without being caught will be declared a winner.
制限時間はこの体育の時間内。
The time limit is until the end of PE.
わかった？
I gotta be honest, during all these instructions, I was trying to actually understand whatever this game they're playing is. I do not understand. There's a can, there's a circle, there's it, they've got numbers on their back. If you read a number, something happens to you, but I don't know. There's something about kicking a can, then there's something about avoiding the can, avoiding the person who's it. I just must be dumb. I tried really hard. I was like, all right, I want to understand these rules. No, once over, I read it. It's gone. I don't know. It's just whatever. I just hope all the kids have fun. That's kind of the mood I'm in right now. I just hope everyone who plays has fun. She says, got it? Yeah! I see. So the qualification for entry in our club is to successfully break through our defenses. If that's the case, I'm glad to welcome any of the winners amongst our ranks.
ちなみに妨害は抱きついたり捕まえたりは OK だけど、グーパンチ、キックはなし。
By the way, hugging and grabbing a person are considered valid forms of interference, but punching and kicking are strictly forbidden.
いいね、レナ。
You got it, Reina?
なんでレナだけ名
Reina
指しなの
specifically.
かな。この
How? Why is Reina the only one being called out by name? Reina became sullen, but if she was able to use her punches freely, everyone would be KO'd and the game would end before we could even read any numbers out.
しかし結構なハンデだな。
But that's a pretty strong handicap.
これはなかなかハードかも。
That may make this pretty hard.
ケイちゃん、この程度で尻込み？
Ki-chan, is that all it takes to make you flinch?
私たち部活メンバーにゃこの程度のハンデは軽すぎるくらいだよ。
For our club members, that sort of handicap is hardly a challenge.
バカにするな。
Don't be ridiculous.
ミオンこそあっさり抜かれて勝ちを譲ったりするなよ。
Don't you go slipping up and handing them a victory on a silver platter either, Mion.
その息その息。
That's the spirit.
私たちの実力と部活の厳しさをみんなに骨の髄まで思い知らせてやろう。
Let everyone know the true strength of our club, right down to the marrow of our bones. Yeah. Then, after confirming that all club members were prepared to be it, and confirming that all the younger students had properly affixed the number to their clothes as safety pins, Mion shouted a proclamation.
それじゃゲーム開始。
Alright, let the game begin!
キックオフは富田くん、よろしく。
Start us up with the kickoff, Tomita-kun.
任せてください。
Leave it to me.
蹴った缶をここに戻してから100数えるまでに各自3回するように。
Once the can has been returned here, we'll count to 100, so spread out.
さあ、戦闘開始。
Now, commence the battle! On Mion's command, Tomita-kun ran up and kicked the empty can sitting inside the white circle. Pow! The can let out a satisfying sound as it flew through the air. At the same time, the younger classmates cheered as they rushed away from here.
すごいキック力だね。
That's an amazingly powerful kick! As she said that, Rina immediately rushed over to where the can landed, then returned it to the white circle in a flash. And with one foot on the can, she began counting 1, 2, 3,
あ
4.
れ
Huh?
そういえばその缶昨日のカレー缶だよな。
Come to think of it, isn't that the same can of curry from yesterday?
中身はどうした？捨てたのか？
What happened to the curry? Did you throw it out?
そんな恐ろしいことできないって。
I'd never do something so wasteful.
ちゃんとチェイ先生が昼食で食べてくれたよ。
I gave it to Chie-sensei and she had it for lunch.
なるほど。
I see. Come to think of it, Chie-sensei seemed to be in a better mood than usual after lunch break. But wasn't that a commercial-sized can large enough to feed 10 people?
カレーの鬼だね。まさに。
She really is the curry demon. Wait, am I the only one who feels that's not the part to be pointing out. Not that it matters, I guess.
96、97、98、99、100。
96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Meanwhile, Rina finished counting to 100 and we all switched into battle mode. Rina stayed behind as the last line of defense, while Mion, Satoko, and I spread out along the back of the school building where the students would be hiding.
さてどこだ
Now, where could they be? I carefully surveyed my surroundings. Unlike in Zombie Tag where I can get someone out just by touching them, in this game I have to check the numbers on their back. In order to do that, I have to push them to retreat, and then drive them to a position where their backs are visible. Of course, I might also be able to catch them and force them to show their backs, but if I discover two people together, there's a possibility that one of them could struggle well enough to allow the other to escape and target the can. The rules in this special variant of Kick the Can demand considerable battle tactics. When I suddenly noticed a shadow and turned toward it, I found two classmates hiding inside a narrow gap. Our eyes met, and then they rushed toward the can. Perhaps their plan from the beginning was to run in different directions and then rush the can, but the moment they turned their backs, I could see their numbers. Whoa! Whoa! I rushed past the two of them in an instant and slammed my foot down on the can hard enough to crush it. And then...
748 559
748, 599!
アウトなのです。
You're out. As soon as Rika-chan raised her hands, the two of them had been pursuing knelt down to the ground. Shortly afterwards... Wait, as soon as Rika-chan raised her hand... Okay. Shortly afterwards, the three more students were driven out of the back of the school building by Satoko, and they came rushing to the can at my feet.
ケイチさん、
Keiichi-san!
691-574-164でございますわ。
Call 691, 547, 164.
よし
Got it!
691 574 164
691, 574, 164.
3人撃墜なのです。
Three more eliminated. I recited the number Satoko communicated and stepped on the can. As soon as Rika-chan saw that, she raised her hand and declared the three of them out. I see. It's a valid tactic under these special rules. The hound, it, pursues a foe, and the hunter, it, finishes them off from beside the can. The strategy works because multiple people are it. However, the hound must drive them out and confirm their numbers too, otherwise the hunter can't finish them off when they approach the can. In other words, cooperation is critical, the greatest weapon we club members have at our disposal.
ケイチくん、行ったよ。
Keiichi-kun, they're coming!
488、294。
488, 294.
よし来た
Alright,
488 294
488, 294. In accordance with the rules, I stepped out of the white circle before Rika-chan could finish her 5-second count. Then I went back in to step on the can and call out the numbers. Next, the classmates driven out by Mion rushed toward the can, hoping to plan a comeback.
ケイちゃん、よろしく。
Kei-chan, I'm counting on you!
619-722-980。
619, 722, 980. The thrilling game they're playing here. And a few minutes later...
よし、次。
Alright, next.
って、あれ？
Huh?
もう終わり？
Is it already over? Mion counted the number of prisoners waiting near the can, then came to a halt. In the blink of an eye, all of our underclassmen were out.
もう少し頑張ってくれると思ってたんだけど、
I thought you guys would put up a better fight.
ちょっと見込み違いかな。
Maybe I overestimated you.
おいそんな言い方はないだろ
Come on, don't say that.
でもさ、これじゃ準備運動にもならないよ。
But this wasn't even a warm-up. Mion called out in a bewildered voice and scratched her head, right in front of our dejected underclassmen. Looking at Rina and Satoko, neither of them were sweating or out of breath. And of course, since I took on the hunter role partway through the game, the same was true for me.
なあミオン
Hey, Mion.
やっぱもう少し条件を下級生有利にするってのはどうだ
How about changing things up a bit to give the younger students an advantage?
今だって十分有利だよ。
Don't they already have more than enough of an advantage?
名前読み上げなくていいんだから。
Since we can't just call out their names?
もし攻守が逆だったら、とっくに私たち缶を蹴飛ばしてるところだよ。
If the teams were reversed, we'd have kicked the can in no time at all. Mion mercilessly shot down my suggestion. Indeed, we probably would have sent one or two people in advance, then used that opening to launch a pincer attack. So, I understood what Mion was trying to say.
これじゃ、ちょっと入部は難しいね。
No one's gonna make the cut at this rate.
しかしなミオン
But, Mion.
ん
Hmm? Akamura-kun was hanging his head until a moment ago, but he suddenly raised it in response to my conversation with Mion.
もう一度
One more time!
もう一度やらせてください。
Please, let us try again! On that signal, junior students who were seated on the ground all stood up at once.
みんな
Everyone.
ほういいよ。
Oh, fine then.
でも今の調子なら何度やっても同じことだけどね。
But in your current state, the result will be the same no matter how many times you try, you know?
次は違います。
Next time will be different.
次こそ勝負です。
Next time it'll be a true contest. As he said that, Akamura-kun picked the can up and set it down in position for kickoff. All the younger students were holding their breath and ready to run.
よし、それじゃあ再戦だ。
Alright, then it's a rematch.
リカちゃん、よろしく。
Rika-chan, it's all on you.
はじめなのです。
Let's begin. Pow! On Rika's signal, Akamura-kun launched the cannon into the air. Once again, the younger students immediately ran behind the school building to hide themselves.
さーて、次はどんな策で来るかな。
Alright, what are they planning this time? Mion stretched her legs and grinned like she was ready and waiting. Rina returned the can to the circle and began slowly counting out the numbers. Satoko was standing beside her, cracking her knuckles. Oh!
通常の関係の戦法ではダメだと岡村さんたちも分かったはずですわ。
Akamura-kun and the others should have recognized that their usual kick-the-can strategies would not work here.
となると次は
Thus, next time...
サトコもそう読むかい？
You got the same read on the situation, Satoko?
なら決まりだね。
Then it's decided.
ケイちゃん、次のハンター役は私で行くよ。
Ki-chan, I'll be the hunter this time.
ケイちゃんはバックアップ。
You'll be on backup.
レナ、任せたよ。
And Rina, I leave the rest to you.
分かったよ。
How? Got it.
おお
Oh, sure? I'm not sure, but it seems like Mion and Satoko were able to predict Akamura-kun's strategy.
けどどんな作戦で
But what kind of strategy will it be? Suddenly, I turned to the school building. I could see our underclassmen standing in the shadows on the left and right side of the school building, looking this way with no attempt to hide themselves.
97、98、99、100。
97, 98, 99, 100! Whoa! The moment Rina finished her 100 count, the junior students huddled together and launched a mass attack.
なるほど
I see.
読まれる前に物量攻撃か
So, they launched a mass attack before we could read their numbers.
いい読みだよ。
Good intuition.
でも、まだ不足。
However, that's still not enough. Supporting Mion's declaration, Rina charged in alone towards the mob of students. She was outnumbered, but that word had no meaning in Rina's dictionary. Whoosh.
小さい子たちの頑張る姿かわいい。
How? These little kids are trying so hard, they're so cute.
お持ち帰り。
I want to take them home with me. An immediate display of superhuman skill. Younger students were down on the ground in no time, and the looks on their faces made it clear they had no idea what happened. Among them, some of the girls were being squeezed by Rina as she held them in her chameleon-like tongue. Her arms and rubbed her cheeks against them in her cute mode. Okay, that's weird.
今のパンチ使ってないよな
Just now, she didn't use arena punches, did she?
はっきりとは見えてませんが、倒れた子にあざができてないので。
Me, I wasn't able to get a good look, but none of the fallen children appear to be bruised.
打撃はなかったと判断しますです。
So based on that, I've determined that there were no direct blows. For the time being, Rika-chan declared that Rina's attacks were both valid and approved. But since when could Rina use, Aikido?
さすがレナ
Excellent work, Rina.
あいつなら折った箸入れの紙ででも割り箸を折ることができそうだな
I bet you could even snap chopsticks in half with the paper they're wrapped in.
ああ、それどっちだけだよ。
Ah, it's such a letdown though.
隠した指で折ってるだけだから。
It's just that they use a hidden finger to snap them. As we made those comments, Tomita-kun and the other boys quickly rose to their feet. However, Satoko used that brief opportunity to deal the fatal blow.
ミオンさん
Mion-san!
474-387-199-682ですわ
474 37 199 682. Difficulty reading numbers there for a sec. Okay.
474-387-199-682
474 387 199 682.
アウトなのです
You're out. What? Tomita-kun and the others were stunned that they were shot down the moment they tried to get up and run. Indeed, while Rina stopped them with her mass attack, Satoko snuck behind them and took aim at their defenseless backs as they tried to get back up.
691-574-164丸見えだよ
691, 574, 164. You're completely exposed. Then the students who tried to avoid showing their backs to Satoko as they stood up were in fact pointing their backs toward Mion at the can, so she was able to take them down easily. Meanwhile, girls Rina was holding lost the will to resist, so Rina was able to read their numbers and get them out.
狙いは良かったんだけどね力押しじゃレナに勝てないよ
It was a good plan, but how can you expect to beat Rina in a contest of force?
さてどうする
So what
も
now?
うギブアップ
So what now? Ready to give up?
まだです
Not yet.
まだ終わりません
It's not over yet. Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun got up again, clenching their fists. The other kids were shocked by the overwhelming difference in power, but even so, their will to join the club was strong enough to follow behind those two.
いい心構えだね
That's a good attitude.
それじゃ泣いて降参っていうまで叩き潰してあげるよ
Then I'll just keep crushing you until you surrender in tears.
おいミオン
Hey, Mion. I tried to say you're going too far, but Mion seemed to interrupt me, provoking them by tapping the can in the circle with her toe. Felt like she was trying to make the younger students look stupid. I was a little offended.
さあ次のキックオフは誰かな
Now, who's going for the next kickoff? Somehow, I started to feel uncomfortable. The Mion I've known until now was a little rough with her language and sometimes took a stance that could easily be misunderstood, but deep down she was really a kind-hearted and thoughtful girl. So I think while we're all twisted around her little finger in her club activities, she still ought to be cognizant of the position the younger students are in. But this time, it was weird. It seemed like she was bullying them just to flaunt her power. I've never seen a Mion like this before.
ひょっとしてシオン
Maybe that's actually Shion.
いや違うか
No, that's not it. I immediately struck down that thought. Indeed, Shion did occasionally go to school disguised as Mion, but that was generally with the intention of investigating the secrets of Hinamazawa and the Sonozaki family, and given what I saw yesterday, that was probably not the case. Plus, this iteration of Kechi and Rina should be able to easily recognize the difference between Mion and Shion. In which case, that girl's actually Mion? There's more and more I don't understand. There's also the subject of new club members. Normally, she would have welcomed anyone who wanted to participate without making them go through an entrance test like this. Plus, she always tried to choose games that everyone could enjoy equally, setting up an environment where beginners could easily enter. That was our class representative, Mion
こ
Sonozaki.
の世界は一体
What on earth is this world? My doubts and anxiety suddenly surfaced through that question, but there was no reply. No, the person who was always by my side would have answered that, but now, all I could do was sigh in vain. It's frightening. Even though I wasn't cold, my entire body was trembling. The usual circumstances had become boring. Yes, like things were before. I was looking forward to a bit of a change. Right, I was thinking that just a little while ago. When it doesn't rain on a day that when it's supposed to rain, or when a person who shouldn't come shows up, those sorts of events excited me. In my callous boredom, those deviations from my predictions made my maddening days feel strangely interesting, even though my life has repeated thousands of times. And yet, even so, why am I feeling so anxious right now? Why am I so scared? So lonely? So sad? Even though I'm a witch? Even after living for thousands of years and seeing so many unforgettable changes in the fate of so many people? Even though I should be some supernatural being that was overcome the fear of death?
どうして
Why? I asked the question over and over inside my heart. Why? 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 I repeated the question like a broken record, but I never received an answer. And then I finally realized.
そうか。
Ah, I see. The reason my heart was always stable was because I always had a destination. Like how birds in the sky are able to follow the sun to find their nests. Or how a ship pulling into the harbor slowly follows the channel markers. For me, Hanyu was always there. So, I felt at ease. Even if I was crying, angry, or depressed, somehow I was able to get my heart back on the right track. But Hanyu was no longer here. And because of that, I could no longer calmly accept the changes I'd never seen before. Shion being kind to Satoko, Mion treating the younger classmates coldly. Though I used to enjoy the pleasure of witnessing an unprecedented fate, now it just made me anxious about the future. How pathetic. Was I always such a piddling creature? 633-718-549.
どうリカちゃん
Well, Rika-chan,
アウトなのです。
you're out. Got their asses. I disguised my facial expression, responding to Mion's proclamation by calling them out. To be honest, I wanted to vent my disgust with a frown. Couldn't understand what Mion was thinking, but I felt uncomfortable either way. Mion looked delighted as she called out the numbers of the younger students one after another. It was vexing, so I just kept thinking about when this unpleasant moment would come to an end.
711-623
7-Eleven, 623.
ってあれもう終わり
Huh? It's over already? After reading out the number Satoko provided her and verifying there were no other younger students left, Mion said that with an audacious smile on her face. Reina and Satoko were both breathing hard with a little sweat on their foreheads, but they still seemed to have plenty of strength left. On the other hand, the underclassmen hoping to join the club. Eventually, Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun knelt down on the ground. Those two were still in good shape, but the other kids, especially the younger girls, were drenched in sweat and half crying while breathing raggedly. My chest ached, and this wasn't the first time. Pain was so hot that it was about to burst through my chest at any moment. I was about to puke.
みーちゃん、そろそろ時間。
Mi-chan, isn't it about time?
うんさてどうする
Well, what now?
まだやる
Still want to keep going?
もちろんです。
Of course! Akamura-kun and Tomita-kun courageously rose to their feet as they said that. However, the other kids were unable to stand like them. Some had even given up. I could sense their bitterness when I caught a glimpse of their expressions. They felt helpless. Above all, resignation from despair. It must be frustrating. It must be irritating. Rather than hostility or hatred for your enemies, what really makes people seethe is when they know that they're helpless. And when you finally give in and choose to surrender, you end up feeling more and more of that depressing self-loathing.
なあミオン
Hey, Mion.
もう
That's enough.
ダメだよ
No good. Mion responded coldly and wouldn't listen at all. Her lack of pity ticked me off, so I turned toward her, but she brushed me aside with calm expression.
ケイちゃんの気持ちはわかるけどさ
Ki-chan, I understand how you feel.
私たちの仲間になりたいのならそれだけの実力を伴わないとね
But if you want to be one of us, you need the skills to back it up.
常に諦めないくじけないひるまない強い心が私たち部活メンバーに必要なこと
Our club members need to have a strong heart that won't hesitate, won't be discouraged, and will never give up.
だから簡単に諦めたり最後まで頑張れないやつは必要ない
So, we have no need for anyone who will give in easily, who can't give it their all until the very end. So what, this is the asshole Mion arc? Where she's just like, I rule with an iron fist.
まして結
At least
果を
that's
得
what
られ
Rika
ないなんて
thinks.
論外
Besides, it's out of the question if they can't deliver results.
ナンセンスだよ
It's nonsense.
なんだよそれ
What was that?
ケイチさんは最近負けが込んでますし、敗者の立場になってお考えになりたくなる気持ちもわからないわけじゃありませんけど。
Well, Kichi-san, it's true that you've been losing a lot lately, so I can understand why you sympathize with the losers.
勝負は勝ってこそ意味があるものでございますわ。
But a game only has meaning when you're playing to win.
ケイチ君、
Keiichi-kun.
同情してみんなをレナたちの仲間に入れても実力が違いすぎていつか楽しめなくなると思うな。
Even if you sympathize with them and want them to join us, the difference in ability is just too great. I don't think they would enjoy it.
ゲームでも負けてばかりだとつまんないでしょ。
Even if it's just a game, isn't it boring to keep on losing?
いいか
Listen!
ゆとり教育とか個性の尊重なんて教育ぶった奴らが戻しに顔で言ってるがそんなのは弱者のたわごとだ
People who think they know what they're talking about will speak of stress-free education and respect for individuality. But that's the nonsense of the weak.
意義とかやりがいよりも受験戦争は勝つことが一番の命題と思え
Winning the entrance exam war is far more important than some notion of meaning or satisfaction.
チャイルディッシュな優しさや平等意識には何の意味もない
Your childish affection and fixation on equality are meaningless.
群がってくる奴らを蹴落としてひたすら勝ちを目指せ
You have to plow through the crowds of enemies and aim for victory.
お前たちは
All of you!
そういうこと。
That's how it is.
だからもうおしまい。
Fuck the kids. Mion says, fuck the kids. So, there's no point in going any further.
はい終了。
Alright, we're finished now.
そろそろ体育の授業も終わり近いし、クールダウンでもして。
PE class is almost over, so let's just cool down.
ふざけんじゃねえ
Don't give me that bullshit! Damn. Finally, I turned to Mion and shouted all my rage. Yes, rage. The unpleasant, painful sensation smoldering deep in my chest all this time was rage against Mion and the others. No need for people who can't give their all. Out of the question if they can't produce results. Games are only about winning. It's boring if you just lose. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. What's with that? That's just like the old days when I was back in Tokyo. Results are everything. Anything is fine to put yourself above others. So just focus on winning and being superior, devoting all your time to that, burying yourself in it. Before long, I lost sight of what I was fighting for. I like this song. When it's sped up, I guess. It lost its significance. It was just left hanging there. In the end, the competition stopped being fun altogether, didn't it? No, I don't give a damn about my past. I've already cast it aside. But I can't stand that my friends Mion, Reina, and Satoko are the ones saying the things I really want to deny more than anything else. After all, I'm right about this, aren't I? If someone can't give it their all, I'll support them until they can stand back up. If they're feeling discouraged, I'll lend them a shoulder tell them to do their best and have fun. If they can't get results, I'll stay beside them until they can. If they want to give up, we should lower the hurdle and give them the joy of reaching the goal. And so what if there's someone who can't win? That's nonsense. If you can't win alone, work with someone else. If that's not enough, bring 4 times as many. Then...
ひなみ沢の伝統
That's the Hinamizawa tradition.
え
Huh?
一人に石を投げられたら二人で石を投げ返せ
If stones are being thrown at someone, then 2 will throw them back.
二人に石を投げられたら4人で石を
Oh, what a callback here. And if 2 throw stones, then 4 will respond.
8人に棒で追われたら16人で追い返し
If 8 people are being chased with sticks, then 16 will chase them back.
30人に中傷されたなら60人で怒鳴り返せ
If 30 people are being slandered, 60 will yell back.
1000人に襲われたならひなみ沢の全員で立ち向かえだったよな
If you're attacked by 1,000 people, then all of Hinamizawa would fight back. Isn't that right?
ケイチ君
Keiichi-kun.
それが
She's just
ひ
like,
なみ沢の心意気だ
they're all just look at him like, you don't have to take it so seriously. It's just a stupid game. That's the spirit of Hinamizawa.
だから俺は決めた
So, I've decided.
こいつら全員を俺たちの仲間にする
All of them are going to join us.
たとえお前らが拒んでも
Whether you accept it or not.
そして諦めない強さと勝つ喜びを最後までずっと手に入れるまでこいつらに教え続けてやる
And I'll continue to teach them to have the strength to keep fighting until they're finally able to achieve the joy of victory.
ケイチさん
Keiichi-san. Satoko tried to squeeze a few words out, but Mion immediately stepped in front of me. Then a grin floated to her face as she responded.
へえ、ケイちゃん。
Wow, Kei-chan.
随分と立派なことを言えるようになったね。
You got a lot of fine things to say.
いやいや、すごいすごい。
No, they're truly amazing.
おじさん感動して涙が出てきちゃいそうだよ。
This old man has been moved to the point of tears.
でも分かってる？
But you understand, right?
ケイちゃん一人が生きがっても、私たちは納得したりしないよ。
Even if you're being considerate of them, that doesn't mean you've convinced the rest of us.
どうする？
So, what are you going to do? The moment she said that, just for the one brief moment, I hated the unbearably annoying Mion standing before me. Was the person standing before me really my best friend Mion Sonozaki? With my doubts and disappointment nagging at me, I considered denouncing our friendship right there. But thinking it over, that was a bad idea. Keeping your distance because you don't like something. Cutting off a relationship because you're annoyed. Doing that would just be running away and admitting I couldn't win against Mion and the others. If that's the case, then there's only one thing to do.
ああ、分かってるさ。
Yeah, I understand.
俺たち部活メンバーのルール。
The
勝
rules.
った方が正義。
The rules of our club. Whoever wins is right.
だから、俺がこいつらを勝たせてやる。
So, I'll make them win.
ほう。言ったね、ケイちゃん。
Oh, them's fighting words, Kei-chan.
断っておくけど、私たち相手に戦うってことは、それ相応の覚悟をしてもらうことになるよ。
Just so you know, you better be fully prepared to fight against us, okay?
もちろん。
Of course.
どんな罰ゲームでも何でも、ドンと持ってきやがれ。
No matter what the punishment is, bring it on.
その代わり、俺が勝ったらいいな。
On the other hand, are you prepared for the possibility I'll win?
恨みっこなしで、俺の要求を無条件で飲んでもらうぜ。
Are you willing to unconditionally accept my demands with no hard feelings?
心象出罰は守るよ。
No service will go unrewarded, and no fault unpunished.
私たち3人以外の誰かが缶を蹴ることができたら、ケイちゃんの勝ちだ。
If anyone other than the three of us manages to kick the can, then Kei-chan wins.
もっとも、その必要は限りなくゼロに近いけどね。
Of course, the chances of that are all but nothing.
その言葉、忘れるなよ。
Don't forget what you just said.
よーし、みんな。
Alright, everyone. I vigorously turned around and faced the despondent underclassmen. Every last one of them looked exhausted. Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun were still half standing and looking up. But most of them were all still on the ground, struggling to even hold their heads up. Even so, I dared to inspire them. That's the thing about humans. You've only truly lost when your spirit is broken.
まだ動けるのはどれだけだ。
How many of you can still move?
遠慮しなくていい。きついやつは休め。
No need to be shy. Those of you who've been through a lot can rest.
恥じることはない。みんな頑張った。
You have nothing to be ashamed of. Every last one of you did your best.
本当によく頑張った。
You truly gave it your all.
前原さん、
Maibara-san.
今疲れ切ってるみんなに、もう一度立ち上がれというのは酷かもしれない。
It's cruel of me to ask everyone who's exhausted to get back up again.
それは分かってる。
I realize that.
それに腰を上げたところで動くことすらきついと思う。
And even if you can stand, it'll be hard to even move.
それも分かってる。
I realize that too.
だが、あえて言わせてくれ、みんな。
But everyone, let me tell you this.
俺は
I knelt down on the spot and spoke with all my heart, hoping to encourage them.
俺はみんなと部活がしたい。
I want all of you to join the club.
だからみんな、俺に力を。
So,
たった一度でいいから力を貸してくれ。
so everyone, lend me your power. Just this once, let me borrow your strength. Huh?
認めさせたいんだ、あいつらに。
I want all of you to be acknowledged.
ここまで頑張ったみんなの気持ちを、思いを、そして心意気を。
Your feelings, your thoughts, and your spirit after giving you all this, giving your all this whole time.
このままじゃ終われない。終わらせたくない。
I don't want it to end like this.
だからほんのちょっとでいい。俺を信じてくれ。
So I need you to believe in me, just a little.
そしてあと一回だけ 勝利を信じる気持ちを奮い起こしてくれ。
And just one more time, show me the inspiration of believing in victory.
考えろ。
Think!
考えるんだ。
Think it over!
相手はほんのちょっと、たった数年だけ先に生まれただけの頭も体もそんなに違いがないやつだろ。
Your opponents are only a few years older. Is the difference in mind and body really that significant?
みんなミオンやサドコと勉強で勝負して負けてばかりか。
Everyone, have you been constantly losing to Mion and Satoko when it comes studying?
そうじゃないだろ。
You haven't, right?
私カリフラワーとブロッコリーの違いわかるもん。
I know the difference between cauliflower and broccoli. One of the downtrodden girls raised her head and spoke up. I gave her a gentle yet powerful pat on the shoulder and said that's right.
しかも相手は4人。
Moreover, there are only 4 opponents.
いや、今は1人減って3人だ。
No, they're losing one, so they're down to 3.
そしてそのうちの1人はハンター役で缶のそばから動けない。
And the one playing the role of the hunter can't move away from the can.
だから注意すべきはたった2人。
So, there are only 2 people to watch out for.
わかるか、富田君、岡村君。
Do you understand, Tomita-kun, Akamura-kun?
君たち2人と同数なんだ。
That's the same number as the 2 of you.
でも竜宮さん相手だと。
But the enemy is Ryugu-san.
そうだ、確かにレナは脅威だ。
That's true. Rina's certainly a threat.
だから俺がレナを食い止める。
So, I'll stop Rina myself.
そうすれば君たちが戦う相手はサドゴ1人。
That way, you only need to fight a single person. Satoko. Huh?
そうか。
I see. Even though those 2 had gradually been losing their energy, their faces brightened up after hearing that. At the same time, the younger students on the ground slowly began to raise their heads and look up at me. Alright, one more time.
いいかみんな、走る必要はもうない。
Okay, everyone, there's no need to run.
俺と富田君、岡村君が猟犬役の2人を食い止める。
Tomita-kun, Akamura-kun, and I will handle the 2 hounds.
だからみんなはただ一つ、缶だけを狙え。
So, the rest of you have a single job. Aim for the can.
ミオンのタッチを恐れるな。
Don't be afraid of being tagged by Mion.
相手は2本の手しかないぞ。
Your opponent only has 2 hands.
はい。
Right.
それじゃあみんな。
Alright, everyone. I held out my hand. First, Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun put their hands on top. And then, all of them put their strong little hands together. Aw, strong little hands.
これが最後のチャンスだ。
This is our last chance.
みんな、行くぞ。
Everyone, let's go.
最終決戦だ。
This is the final battle. Yeah! It's very serious business. Incredible. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
まさか
It can't be. All the younger students were in poor spirits just a moment ago. They wouldn't outright say it, but they had lost the energy to even stand from the fatigue and helplessness. They thought even if they fought, they had no chance of winning. They were halfway, maybe even completely ready to give up. But despite that, after just a few words from Kechi, they were getting on their feet again and wiping the dirt from their shorts with the same level of strength they had from the very beginning, maybe even stronger. To tell the truth, even I thought they looked pathetic. They hit a little wall and began to mope. Still, they didn't want to accept defeat. They didn't want to accept that reality. So they turned their heads down and waited for someone to sympathize with them. Such a psychophantic attitude. Perhaps that's not the case, but I couldn't see it any other way. I loathed watching Mion behave so haughtily, but honestly watching the younger students was just as tedious. So, I simply turned my gaze inward. I stopped thinking and wanted to just stand still waiting for time to pass. But Kechi wasn't like that. He believed in their potential and went so far as to stand up to his friends in order to choose to reach a hand out to them. It wasn't the grace of a higher being, it wasn't cheap sympathy, it was kind but strong encouragement from deep in his heart. So, everyone was able to get up again. They weren't forced into it, they did it of their own volition. They regained the will to fight.
やっぱり圭一なのね。
After all, that's Kechi for you. That never changes. No matter the time, no matter the place, Kechi never changes. His strong convictions spin around and go out of control, which certainly can lead to tragedy. Still, Kechi continued fighting fate until the very end. And, because of his strength, the People around him simply can't ignore him. Deep down, I believe that.
ケイチ
Keiichi,
あなたなら見せてくれるのかしら
could you be the one to finally show it to me?
不愉快な時間を打ち破るちっぽけな奇跡
The small miracle that can tear down this detestable time? Right before my eyes, Keiichi was holding the can in kickoff position. As I looked onward, surprisingly enough, I could feel my heart getting lighter.
それじゃあ行くぜ
Alright, let's go!
えい
Yaw! Yaw! Pow! A cool sound rang out as Empty Can danced through the air. The younger students dashed to the back of the school building while Rina and Satoko chased after the can.
ちょっと待てレナ佐藤
Hold on, Rina. Satoko. How?
なんですの
What?
缶を取ってからのカウントダウンは省略していい
Oh, he's being bold. Once you recover the can, you can skip the countdown.
その代わりこの問題を解いてから缶を取りに行け
But in exchange, you can't go for the can until you solve this problem.
何かな
They should just be like, no, we don't have to listen to your rules. Your made-up rules. What could it be? What could it be?
問題だ
Here's the problem.
1分間に2つに分裂する細菌がある
There are bacteria that split in two once per minute.
これを瓶に詰めると1時間でいっぱいになる
If you put one in a jar, the jar will be full after 1 hour.
さてこの細菌を瓶に2つ入れたら何分で瓶いっぱいになるか
But if you put 2 of those bacteria in the jar, how long will it take to fill it? Oh my god, it's a math problem. Oh shit. Not math.
それは
Huh? Well,
なんですのその奇怪な問題は
why are you asking such a bizarre question?
ケイちゃんいつもの引っ掛けた謎々だね
Keichan, you're trying to trick us with one of your conventional riddles.
残念だけどおじさんは引っかからないよ
Sorry, but this old man won't be caught in your web.
正解はシンプルに考えて1時間の半分の30分
The answer is simple once you think about it. It's half an hour, 30 minutes.
残念不正解だ
Sorry, wrong answer.
というわけでその問題が解けるまで缶を取りに行くなよ
By the way, you're not allowed to go for the can until you get the answer right, okay?
どうして
Huh? Huh? Why?
2つに増やしたんだから時間も半分でしょ
There are twice as many of them, so it should happen in half the time, right?
それじゃあリカちゃん正解が言えるまでちゃんと見張っておいてくれよ
Alright, Rika-chan, keep an eye on them until they get the answer, the right answer, okay?
了解なのですニパ
Roger, Nipa! Rika-chan waved her hand with a weird-looking smile on her face. Incidentally, Rika-chan was the only person I told the correct answer.
1時間は60分だから2倍の速さになれば30分だよね
1 hour, 60 minutes, so if you double the speed, it'll take 30 minutes, right? How?
レナ数学は苦手なんだよ
Rina is no good at math.
ちょっとリカ
Hold on, Rika.
笑ってないでヒントだけでも教えてくださいませ
Do not laugh at us like that. Please, give us just a small hint.
審判は公正なのですニパ
The referee must remain neutral. Nipa! Neutral referee. Mion and the others are still busy discussing it behind me. This may give us even more time than the 100 count normally would. Why was he able to just make up this rule? It doesn't make any sense. I dashed to the back of the school building where Tomita-kun and Akamura-kun were waiting.
前原さん
Maibra-
準備 OK です
Maibra-san, preparations are complete.
女子は全員教室に
All the girls are in the classroom,
男子の残りは校舎の反対側に行きました
and the other boys have gone to the other side of the school building.
よしここは時間が勝負だ
Alright, it's time to win this.
2人とも仕掛けは万全か
Are both of you ready for our tactic?
バッチリです
Good to go! The two of them smiled at the same time and flashed me a thumbs up. After seeing that, I nodded and grabbed their hands.
よし
Alright,
俺たちは今からどうした
we're comrades now.
俺のことは前原じゃなく刑事と呼べ
Don't call me Maibara. Call me Kichi. Okay, Kechi-san.
僕のことも大輝でお願いします。
And please, call me Daiki.
僕もスグルで。
And call me Suguru.
ケイチさん、あなたにすべて託します。
I'll leave everything to you, Kechi-san. Two of them firmly placed their hands on mine. I put my other hand on top and shouted, "Yeah!" I could see Mion and the others far from the side of the school building. From the far side of the school building. They must have finally solved it because Rina was carrying the can back to the circle. It seemed like smoke was about to come blowing out of Rina's head, and Satoko was being Satoko. Her face was so bright red I could see it clearly from here. And Mion seemed to be laughing, but her eyes were constantly pointing straight in this direction. She must be certain I'm lurking back here and constantly on watch. Now, let the game begin. Club members!
全軍
All forces! I slowly raised my hand, and then vigorously shouted and pointed forward.
突撃
Attack! Ah! With that cry, all our separate teams rushed toward the can at once. Rina and Satoko quickly moved in to intercept. Rina moved toward the court that had approached earlier and began her attack.
来たね来たね
You're here. You're here.
一斉に来ても無駄無駄無駄
Ha 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 ha. Even if you approach all at once, it's useless, useless, useless. Pow, pow, pow. The detached corpse was overwhelmed by that unstoppable advance. While they groaned and tried to stand up, Satoko moved in behind them to read their numbers. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
一斉攻撃とは芸のない
There is no elegance to a mass attack. What?
どうしたのサトコ。
What happened, Satoko?
早く数字を。
Get their numbers quick.
475
4, 7, 5?
じゃなかったに
No, is that a 2?
違うのです
Wrong.
無効なのです
Invalid answer. Rikishan formed an X in front of her chest with her arms. When she saw that, Satoko panicked and mistakenly read several people's numbers. Rikishan declared her answers invalid.
どうしたのさとこちゃん
Oh, what's the problem, Satoko-chan?
ちゃんと読み上げなきゃダメだよだよ
You have to read them properly, you know? You know?
だって
Well,
背番号が逆さまなのでございますわ
the numbers on their backs are upside down. Simple trick. Huh? Yes, one of the reasons for buying that extra time earlier was so that we could invert everyone's player numbers.
ケイちゃん、やってくれたね。
Kei-chan. No, you didn't.
審判。
Referee!
背番号
They
の
laugh
つける
like
向きは
that.
指示なかったし
The rules said nothing about the direction of the numbers.
だよなリカちゃん
Right, Rika-chan?
OK です
It's okay.
ノージャッジなのですよ
No violation. Rika-chan had a huge smile on her face as her arms formed a circle overhead. Meanwhile, a few of the troops who had escaped Satoko's initial shootout were on the move again, resuming the attack.
レイナさん
Rina-san! Ah,
ダメダメ
no good, no good.
ここから先は一歩も通せない
You won't take another step closer. Wham! Pow, pow, pow. The detached corpse was once again defeated by Rina's godlike speed. What's more, this time she used a combination technique with a twist to get them to fall face down rather than on their backs.
レイナさんナイス
Nice work, Rina-san.
577-269-174でございますわ
The numbers are 577, 269, 174. From Satoko's perspective, the kids who fell over were practically doing a handstand. As a result, the inverted numbers were returned to their original orientation, making them far easier to read. Ah ha ha
さ
ha.
すがケイチくん面白い作戦だよ
Well done, Kechi-kun. That's an interesting strategy.
ほんのちょっとだけ焦っちゃったかな
I wonder if he's feeling a little bit flustered. Flustered? Oh, ho, ho, ho.
所詮は付け焼き場の朝知恵でございますわ
In the end, it was but a hasty attempt to retemper a dull blade. After eliminating the detached corpse, Rina and Satoko immediately moved in front of the main squad. Then they tried to wrap around to the left and right to steal a glance at our backs. course, I was keeping in mind Mion's field of view as the hunter. In other words, we need to engage in a dogfight against 2 enemy fighters while avoiding their long-range sniper fire.
レナ
Reina,
お前は俺が相手だぜ
you're my opponent! Ah,
残念だけど今のレナにはケイチ君だって相手じゃないよ。
sorry, Ketchikun, but you're not my opponent at the moment.
一歩でも間合いに入ったらケイチ君だって容赦しないからね。
I won't allow you to allow even you to take... I won't allow even you to take even one step closer. There's 2 evens there.
おいよ上等
Oh, it's on!
大輝すぐるサトコは頼んだ
Daiki, Subaru, I'll leave Satoko to you.
了解です。
Roger!
任せてください。
Leave it to us. They dodged sideways as I said that to lure Satoko away from me. They were able to skillfully switch directions, as expected of members of the baseball club. Satoko quickly took that chance to move behind them. However, they quickly stood back to back to conceal one another's numbers.
卑怯ですわ。
Such cowardice!
いいか
Rika!
隠し方は特に決めてませんです。
There were no stated rules about hiding them.
ノージャッジなのです。
No violation. Nipa, fuck you. After Rika-chan's rejection, Satoko had no choice but to jump out and chase them. However, thanks to the demanding nature of that, would leave the area near the can more exposed.
レナさん、二人を足止めして。
Rina-san, stop those two!
わかった。
Got it.
今行く。お
I'm coming. Huh?
おっと
Tisk tisk.
お前の相手は俺じゃないのか
Didn't I tell you I'm your opponent? Rina stopped for a moment and watched us begin to dash toward the can. Then, she finally settled on me as the target and turned toward me with an expressionless look, devoid of her earlier smile.
ケイチ君、
Keiichi-kun.
邪魔するとレナもちょっとだけ怒るよ。
Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I heard a sound outside. And I thought it was my actual, like, my PC fans going crazy or something. Okay, no. There's just something happening outside, I think. I don't know what it could be. Alright, Ketchikun, if you get in my way, it'll make Rina a little bit angry, okay?
そいつは面白いな
Thought my PC was about to blow up. How interesting.
怒ったレナもプリチーだから目に焼き付けておきたいぜ
Angry Rina is pretty too, so I want that image of you burned into my eyes. It's a weird thing to say, Ketchy.
そう。選んだね。
So, you've made your choice then.
それじゃ行くよ。
Then, shall we go? Shudder. Rina's eyes chills. Rina's eyes sharpened and turned deep red. Felt like there was intense pressure on my legs. No, my entire body was frozen. I couldn't move. The light in her eyes was strong enough to pin an enemy down. And then...
わっと
Whoa! I reflexively stepped back in the nick of time to dodge an arm that reached for my chest and side. When I looked down at the neckline of my gym shirt, I noticed one of the buttons was missing.
さすがだね。
Nicely done.
もらったと思ったのに。
I thought I had you there.
でも次は
But what now? Rina advanced towards the forward to close the gap. I was still so overwhelmed by the pressure, I was about to be crushed, but somehow I managed to endure it. And then... As I watched Rina, I realized it was the sharpness of her gaze that threw me off. Then, I widened my field of view around Rina so I could see her movements and signs. And once I did, I could see that Rina was breathing heavily and drooping her shoulders, just like me. That's it, her eyes. As long as our eyes don't meet, I can still clearly see her movements. A moment later, I felt Rina moving in to grab my left sleeve, so I stepped back and to the right to dodge. Then, I hooked my leg around Rina's left leg, which had just stepped past me, and lightly pushed on Rina's shoulder to take advantage of her momentum. Yeah! Apparently unable to predict that attack, Rina stumbled down and landed on her butt. I quickly rushed in to help her before remembering her current situation and came to a stop.
ケイチ君ひどい。
How? Ketchikun, you're awful.
ごめん
Sorry.
まさか転ぶとは思わなかった
I didn't think you'd fall like that.
ああケイちゃんひどいね。
Ah, that was awful, Kichan.
こりゃ罰ゲームは相当覚悟してもらわないとね。
You better be prepared for one heck of a punishment for this.
あ、いや、
Well... Mion was supposed to be protecting the can, so when I understood the implication of her being over here, I quickly turned around. Beyond Mion's shoulders, I could see Daiki and Suguru suddenly kneeling on the ground.
さて、なかなか楽しませてもらったけどね。
Well, that was pretty fun.
そろそろゲーム終了といきましょうか。
But it's about time to end this game. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
さすが圭一さんですが、いかんせん駒不足でしたわね。
Well done, Kechi-san, but your pawns were not enough. Satoko was also heading toward me with a fearless smile on her face. Then, I noticed that Rina had gotten up and was moving behind me, trying to cut off my retreat. If things keep up like this, one of them will be able to see my number, and the other will get me out. If they can make it back to the can, it'll be game over.
いいのかよ、ミオ。陣地を無人にして。
Mion, is it really alright to leave your base unattended?
まだ兵隊は残っているはずだぜ。
There are still troops out there, you know?
おじさんを甘く見ないでよ。
Don't underestimate this old man.
残りの女の子たちはもう走る元気もないって。さっきまでの戦いとキックオフの時に見て確認済みさ。
I could tell at the time of kickoff that none of the girls had the energy to run anymore. I see. So Mion was able to foresee that much?
いやー、それにしてもさっきのクイズは参ったね。
Actually, you got the better of us with that quiz.
しばらく意味がわかんなくて、ずいぶん時間をロスしちゃったよ。
It took a while to figure it out, so we lost a lot of time.
まさか最初の一本、一つが二つに分かれるところだけが省略されて、正解は59分なんてさ。
Indeed, it only saves you the first minute, where one divides into two. So the answer is 59 minutes. Which, easy answer. But I feel like, even if they didn't, obviously they didn't know it, they were just thinking probably like if you're not thinking too hard, your brain first goes, oh, you cut in half because you've got double the starting route. But like, I feel like even if you were just following the logic of riddles, like, especially like math riddles or something, if the answer isn't the obvious answer, then there's gotta be like almost like a second obvious answer. And to me, the second obvious answer would have just been, oh, you're just 1 minute, you know? Assuming you're working under the impression that like a riddle isn't, it's like not, it's partly a riddle kind of thing, and it's not just purely a math thing where it's like, I'm giving you a math problem you need to solve. But if they really start, depending on how long it took them to figure it out, like even if you start diagramming that kind of thing out, you should clearly be able to see that like you're literally just skipping one step by introducing two instead of one at the start. Anyway, I digress.
ちなみに聞いておこう。
By the way, let me ask.
誰がわかった？
Who figured it out?
レナだよ。
It was Reina.
でもみーちゃんは最初に説明してもしばらく理解できなかったみたいだけどね。
Even though Mii-chan is able to explain it now, it took her a long time to really understand it. I see. That's Mion, alright.
さて、それじゃあ覚悟はいいかな。
Now then, have you prepared yourself?
ついでに罰ゲームも。
This is a punishment game, by the way.
あ
Sure.
あ。で、あれはいいのか？
But, are you okay with that?
え？
Huh?
あそこにいる艦に向かってる下級生たちは。
The younger students are heading toward the can right over there.
またまたご冗談よ。
Not that prank again.
さっき言ったでしょ。
Didn't you try that earlier?
もう走る元気はあの子たちにないって。
They don't have the energy to run.
歩く元気はあるみたいだけどな。
Sure, but it looks like they might have the energy to walk. What? Walk, 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 walk. As soon as she heard that, Mion turned back and was shocked to see the younger girls. Yes, our last hidden ball play. While we drew the attention of our three opponents, the girls recovered their physical strength and launched our strategy of attacking the enemy headquarters as a mobile battalion. Naturally, it was hard to expect them to run, but I was certain they'd be able to walk after a short rest. Satoko!
了解ですわ。
Roger! Satoko quickly turned and rushed to stop the girls' invasion.
しかしケイちゃんも人がいいね。
But Kichan, should you really have done that?
わざわざ奇襲を教えてくれるなんてさ。
You just explicitly told me about your surprise attack.
そうかな。
Is that so?
レナ、 あの子たちをよく見てみろ。
Reina, take a look at those kids. Huh? Oh! When Reina saw the girls toddling forward, she burst. Her nose began to bleed. They changed out of their gym clothes during their downtime and were now all dressed in costumes. Okay. Their outfits include school swimsuits, maid dresses, waitress attire. What the fuck? And, of course, every single one of them was wearing cat ears. They were squeezing out the last dregs of their physical strength, so they swayed left and right as they walked, like cute little animals. I wanna take them home with me! Reina! No matter how you look at it, this is a trap! Unable to endure that adorable sight, Reina completely forgot that she was about to corner me and ran off toward the girls. Of course, I wasn't such a good-natured person that I'd let this opportunity go to waste. Whoa! Oh no! Wait, Reina, Satoko! Stop, Ki-chan! I didn't bother hiding my back and slipped past Mion, charging toward the can. Mion had abandoned her hunter post to move in behind me. In other words, the enemy base was unattended, and that was my true objective. What? Keiichi-san? Satoko noticed me moving, and Reina had finally come back to her senses, so they rushed back to their base. Our speed and distance was roughly equal, so the key that will decide victory in this game is willpower. 10 meters left. Stop him! Stop him! 5 meters left. I gotta make it in time. 3 meters left. You will not reach the goal. Then. Raw. The dust in the air settled. After diving full force to the ground, I got up and looked onward. The can was still there. Satoko dove at it with a desperate sliding kick. Reina pulled out all the stops to extend a saving hand. At the last second, my thoughts, no, everyone's thoughts came to a complete halt after that wholehearted play. I couldn't say anything. My body wouldn't move. And the same applied to Reina and Satoko, and probably Mion behind us too. Nobody moved a muscle. We just silently stared at the can. I lost? Even after inspiring everyone? I filled them with dreams and anticipation. I put on such a show with my big mouth. But in the end, a pitter-patter came from nearby. Rika-chan walked up next to the can and raised her right hand. Then, we have a winner. Pow. Keiichi. And the younger students. Right before our eyes, Rika-chan kicked the can herself. As I stood there stunned, she turned to me with a broad smile.
Rika-chan?
Rika-chan. Congratulations, Keiichi. You won. No, but...
3人以外の誰かが蹴ったらケイイチたちの勝ちとミーも言いました。
Me said if anyone other than the three of us kicks the can, Keiichi's team wins.
だから僕が蹴飛ばしても誰も文句は言えないのです。
So nobody can complain if I kicked it.
ですよね、ミー。
Right, me? Mion made a sour face at that blunder, but it quickly transformed into a bitter smile and then to a proper smile.
おめでとう、ケイちゃん。
Congratulations, Ki-chan.
あんたの
You win.
勝ちだ。
Oh, I cut her off.
おめでとう、ケイちゃん。あんたの勝ちだよ。
Ah! We did it! After Rikichan's declaration, Mion's response, all the boys who were crying out in frustration just a moment ago, including Taiki and Suguru, and the girls who were sitting on the ground unable to keep standing, all at once, they let out a jubilant sound covered in muddy sweat and warm tears. And they rushed toward me, each raising their voices to share their joy. Just then, I heard a distant chime signaling the end of class. It seemed louder than usual, like it was celebrating our victory. Yeah, go kids! Go kids! Go... I was gonna say rejects, but that's mean and doesn't make much sense.
それでは約束通り
Alright, we're gonna
我
save
が
it
部
there.
活への
Shut up,
全員
Mion!
入部をここに宣言し了承する
Shush! She's still just going. So I'm saving over her. Alright, that'll do it for the Higurashi portion tonight. A little under 2 hours. It's not too bad, though. What a thrilling sports game that was. Club activity. Thrilling. Alright, I'm gonna throw up a BRB, and then I'm gonna get Valkyria Chronicles booted up here. And we'll do that for the rest of the night. So, I'll be back shortly.